Wake Up MLS here for Match Day 7 preview. If this is the first time tuning in, welcome. Again, on this channel, you can expect to find a roundtable, a panel of various independent content creators within the broader North American or American soccer base. And for this episode today, we are previewing MLS Match Day 7 as part of the 2025 season. As usual, joined by two great guys you can see on your screen. We got Hector from Insert Name FC, got John from Loud and Proud Orlando here with me today to ask some big questions that every fan should be kind of contemplating, starting to think about as we inch closer towards Match Day 7 at the weekend. All right, guys. So let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right in. And the first topic that we have, because it is breaking news this week, in a good or a bad way, depending on which side of the sporting Kansas City fan spectrum that you sit on. But it is official as of now. Peter Vermes is officially out at Sporting Kansas City. Some will say a legend. Some will say it's, taken way too long. Either way, massive news hitting the timeline. I think it was, what was it, guys? Like 2 days ago? A day or two ago? After the Dallas loss, of all results, for that to be the one that kind of puts the nail in the coffin for Vermes. I have my own thoughts on this. I think it's somewhat of a hot take, so I'll save it here. Hector, why don't we start with you, bro? I'm just kind of curious. We talked about this a little bit yesterday on your channel, Insert Name FC. Go check it out. How do you feel about we know that this probably was a long time coming, but what are your thoughts in general? Just what your first reaction to Vermes getting fired?
I think for me, it's been long overdue. I think at this point, I feel like maybe Vermes has done little things that has kind of made the front office be like, okay, you know what, we can, obviously at the end of the day, Vermes has built quite a resume for himself at Sporting Kansas City. I mean, the guy, I believe, had to step in as coach. I think he was initially just a general manager, and then having to come in and take over as coach for Sporting Kansas City. But I mean, obviously he has some silverware to show, but I think and I think more and more hasn't been ideal right now with Kansas City. Injuries is probably an excuse that can be used for Kansas City, especially last year. Even the year before, you can even say that as well. And I think one of the things that kind of gave them a lot of grace was that 2023 season where they started terribly and they find themselves some really good form, and they're in winning the wild card round and then going in and beating a first seed in St. Louis. And I think he got a little bit leeway from that. And I think last year, obviously, the run for the U.S. Open Cup, still, you're playing for something. And I think with the fact that you have the resume that Vermes has with Sporting Kansas City, the connection that he has to Kansas City, along with maybe you're like, well, he's got this going on, so maybe there's that. Yeah. I think it's just hard to like fire somebody, but you could just see things aren't working. Player acquisitions aren't necessarily living up to what they're hoping for. And I mean, when your coach is not only the GM, you're talking about now you have to replace two positions.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that begs the question, right? And John, this kind of kicks over to you now. As far as I'm sure we all had somewhat of a similar reaction, but can Sporting Kansas City now turn this around? It's one thing to have new manager bounce, right? It's one thing that, okay, you fired a coach, you bring another one in, maybe the morale changes in the short term, maybe there's a little bit of a positive bounce. But bro, we're going 2 layers in, right? Like there's a sporting director that's also been let go simultaneously, right? So are they going to is getting Vermes out solving their problems, or are they able to turn this around from your perspective? How does that look?
I mean, I think it's just going to be a very long process of removing, a guy's stamp that was at the club for so long. I mean, he was like the longest tenured manager, in the world. I mean, he's been there since 2009. So other managers, that might have been there 4 or 5 seasons, it's going to take you, a year or so to really get the mentality out. And maybe there's a culture change that needs to happen and all of this. I mean, but with this situation, you're talking about the entire identity, the entire, DNA of Sporting KC is Peter Vermes. So, yeah, I mean, what does KC look like without him? I just don't think they're gonna have any expectations this year. Like maybe being like getting to the playoffs is a maybe hope for them. I think it's a long term, big picture. We got to turn this around. Take this year to figure out who's coming in to be the coach. Maybe give him the summer to figure some stuff out, change the squad, and then build for next year. But I think there's way too much Vermes in this to be like, oh yeah, someone's going to come in and make it work. They've got to figure out how to, go on without a guy that did everything for so long for you. It's not a situation you see every day.
So the interim manager, Kerry, whatever, Zavagnan, I think is how you say his last name.
Yeah.
This guy's the placeholder then? Like, will KC be okay? And will the fans be okay after calling for Vermes to be let go before? Are they going to be okay with this guy at the helm for the rest of the season?
I think when the right now you're just bottom of the bottom, right? Like you're the absolute floor of MLS. So for you this season, I wouldn't really say as a Sporting KC fan that I have high expectations of anything. I think I'm just excited to watch my team not under Peter Vermes. Honestly, like I'm sure most KC fans are like, yo, I want to go a game and watch us play under someone who isn't Peter Vermes managing my club and just see what that looks like. And I think right now, yeah, they might be a bit like concerned. If this MLS had, relegation, you'd be really concerned about what are we going to do, but they can just take a year and be like, okay, what are we now that there's no Peter Vermes, and figure out the manager thing. They do have some decent players in there. I think they could make the playoffs maybe, but there's a lot of question marks now. So it's just going to be a while before they know what they are.
Yeah, I think you have no choice if you're KC to then to just run with this interim manager and figure it out the rest of the season. Take your time. I think if you're looking for a new long-term manager, it doesn't have to be in 2025. I firmly believe that they need to go out and figure out what they want this team to be. Frankly, that's how deep this goes.
Till the summer. The summer, you're gonna have way more manager options outside of MLS if you want to go that route.
But that's what I'm saying. So if they okay, so let's say summer gets here, and maybe they're inching their way towards relevancy in the Western Conference. Do you then make a change? Like, is that too soon for the gap and the hole in this team and this club that Peter Vermes is leaving behind? Like, who's the right guy, right? Is it going to be Curtin? Is it going to be, I don't know.
I think people are giving Curtin a lot more credit than I think he deserves. I'm not saying he's a bad coach by any means. I mean, I think he understands MLS very well, but
sure.
I mean, you're talking about a team that right now you lost your identity. And Peter Vermes is very much was Sporting Kansas City for a good amount of years, and yeah, maybe Jim Curtin sounds like he's just the big name right now because he's literally the only guy that's available at this point. And I think, John makes a valid point about, why don't you wait till summer, when there's more openings going to be coming from all across the world. And not even, and then I'd even say, like, I don't think if you're Kansas City, I don't think there's a rush right now. You're not looking great. Yes, I know we're 1 month into the season and you could potentially turn things around. But at the same time, like, I don't feel like necessarily Kansas City is in a rush because you are not only restructuring your your coaching staff, but technically your front office as well. You're going to be restructuring, and you're going to want to make sure you do it right. You don't want to screw up on this. You can't just get anybody that's just hanging out in the streets of Philadelphia and hope that it's going to work out, Because I think right now the Sporting Kansas City is an opportunity where they could – there's no pressure right now for them. I think that they're right now need to make this the right decision, and you don't rush when you want to make the right decision.
Fair. So they're in a full rebuild then. That's what we're saying. They're in a full rebuild.
Well, not like they have Mike Burns, so they did kind of start this process of like, let's not be completely, reliant on Peter Vermes. So he hasn't been the general manager since June, 2024. So there is somebody there. Mike, he has history with like New England. He knows MLS. Does that mean he's going to go the MLS manager route? I mean, it might be the case that you've got a guy here who understands the mechanics of MLS, so that allows you to go maybe get a manager or a coach who isn't from MLS because Mike, the GM, could kind of handle that stuff. We'll see where they go, but like it's not. It would be worse. Like obviously, Peter Vermes did all of that stuff for so long that I think even Mike Burns, like this squad isn't really even his squad. You know, it's still per Peter Vermes' squad. So there's going to be some time, like I said, to kind of just figure out where to go, what players want to stay, what players want to go, and what the new KC is going to look like.
And so ahead of match day 7, when they're playing against a rival, doing this again before the St. Louis City matchup, I think is super interesting. You talk about the impact on that's going to be felt on this team ahead of that game. Who's the pressure on? Is it on St. Louis? Like, who's the pressure on? Is it on the new manager, the interim, to get the result?
It's on St. Louis to not underestimate. This is like a trap game of all trap games. And I know we're talking about a derby and, form goes to the wayside, but you're literally talking about a team that's, I don't want to be mean, but down bad. I mean, you don't fire your coach 1 month into the season because you're doing fantastic. And I think if you're St. Louis, which, a lot of people are doing a lot of praising for St. Louis right now, solid defensively. When they start scoring, they seem to be scoring in bunches. It's going to be on them to not take this Sporting Kansas City scenario lightly because there's some pride at stake now if you're the players. Because, and Tim Howard kind of talked about it. It sucks to be the team that got your coach fired. It's not a great feeling to be part of that team. And that they're lining themselves up for this game to showcase that, hey, we're not a bad team. Just because we did not get the results early in this year does not mean that's not going to define us as a team.
I agree. And actually, coming off that game against Dallas, what I will say, because I watched that through and through, bro, there were so many spells KC just looked dominant. Like, I really feel like as much as I'm screaming, if I'm a KC fan, screaming free Jovic from the top of every mountain, at the same time, while he didn't get any of the ball, really, I mean, I feel like Dallas just honed in on him specifically. They kind of created enough havoc even without Jovic playing a major part. I feel like, of course, St. Louis's defense is better. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's better than Dallas's, so it will be even more difficult. But it's a rival. I think there's more at stake with this game on both sides of it. I think we can use that game against Dallas to critique Sporting Kansas City to an extent, but there's other emotions that go into this game. So I don't know, man. I think it could be the best thing that happened to them without them even realizing it, right? I almost look at this Vermes move, just to kind of wrap it up, as like, the moment, to compare it to a team overseas, the moment Arsene Wenger got let go from Arsenal, right? Or he stepped away, right? Where he felt like he had been there just way too long, had this massive footprint all over the club, and the glory years were kind of already behind them. That's what this feels like, And so either way, Peter Vermes goes down a legend. I don't think it's even his last stop per se, but I do think he will take some time. And I think Sporting KC long-term should be better for this, but only time will tell. As far as this game, though, goes, I think the pressure's all on St. Louis. If they give their biggest rival their first win of the season, oh man, I mean, it's exactly what KC fans want, and it is St. Louis's worst nightmare at the end of the day. So we'll find out, man. Again, let us know in the comments down below how you feel about this, not just the Vermes firing, but what impact it has on, what's the name of this rivalry called? Is it I call it the Battle for Missouri, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know the name of this one.
I think it's like, bro, no bullshit. I think it's like the soccer capital something, like Derby.
I'm just going to call it the Moose Bowl. The Moose Icho Bowl. The Moose Icho Bowl.
Yeah, the Midwest Derby. That's what I'll call it. I think either way, man, it's going to be a good one. Fans should tune in. I'd be really curious to see what version of Sporting Kansas City we get heading into match day 7. All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic of discussion, which is going to be over as, or I should say, sticking in the Western Conference. San Diego FC. Let's talk about it, bro. Again, coming off of another big result, opening season for this expansion side, and they've taken down both of their LA rivals in pretty quick fashion, I would say. Are they actually legit? Like, should every team now fear the third place team out west?
It's early, man. It's just early to tell, and I think context does matter. Yes, San Diego, new team and new team in the block, and I get that's great, and I'm all for it. I think it was exciting to see what they were able to do. Snapdragon is just an electric atmosphere from what I've seen. Once again, I'm not going to talk about the stupid chant.
You don't have to. We don't have to.
But I don't know, man. The thing is with me is obviously it to me it's still a bit early. It's still a bit early to call what this San Diego team is going up against because like we mentioned, this Galaxy team has not been great. And I'm not going to use the excuse, but they have not been great, and so I mean, yes, big win for them, first win of the season. That's all that's great. And then this LAFC team, while they have seemed to not look as bad as they did in the recent games, yeah, still getting results, but still not looking great. Really duked it out, and I thought that was a really good match where you could say it's very respectable. It's still very early, we'll see how they do when it comes to dog days of summer. But I mean, if you're San Diego right now, you're at least, if you could keep this form up, at least going into the summer, why not say you're going to be in that playoff contention?
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, bro. I actually think they are somewhat legit. I think it is early. Do not get me wrong. I agree, Hector. It's 100% early. But let me ask you, just to play devil's advocate here, if we were back in 2023 for the St. Louis season, at what point would it no longer have been too early for St. Louis? I know hindsight's 2020, and we look at what happened post that 2023 season, and it hasn't really been great by any stretch of the imagination. But if we're looking at that season in isolation, when did you start taking St. Louis seriously?
Honestly, I think for me it was definitely, I think it was because how they were winning.
Okay.
They were, I think that was what it was for me with them. They were very advantageous at their opportunities. I mean, the way they embarrassed Austin FC on opening day, that was to me just a tone setter of how this team was going to approach the games. And I think they
Shout
they
out
were
Tim
full
Parker.
send. They were full send, and I think it was, that's kind of what you saw from them. Obviously, they maybe got themselves a little too burnt out, and I think if you're San Diego, while you want to study what St. Louis did in that year, because I don't think that there's even a first year like that compared to any other expansion team. Take note about how they played, but at the same time, understand that you don't want to be the team that in their first year wins first place in the Western Conference and then gets eliminated by a rival.
That'd be fucking wild. You imagine like either Galaxy or LAFC just getting revenge. I think that'd be crazy, bro. These are their next 7 games. Okay, I want you to look at this and like let's predict how many points we think they get. I think this is going to be interesting because to me this is the slate of games. I know they played some heavy hitters already, a couple of them, and they got draws both times, Columbus and St. Louis. However, we've kind of poked holes at both of those teams already in the first 6+ weeks of the season. So I think you get not the gauntlet thrown at you, but you definitely get a pretty solid uphill climb of matches, if you will. Again, they're hosting Seattle. They'll travel to Colorado in the altitude with Mihailovic playing the way that he's playing. They'll travel to Charlotte at the Bank. Massive, massive game. I think for everyone in the league to take them seriously. Salt Lake, I think, could be pretty straightforward. Even Dallas could be straightforward, but Lucho Acosta is still him, and will pose his own problems.
Is that in Dallas or is that
No,
in
that's in Cali. Yeah, that's Snapdragon.
Okay.
They'll travel to City Park and then they will host Colorado. So I think that between this, where we are today and mid-May, the next month and a half could just prove to be a very, very pivotal stretch of games. But looking at this, out of 21 points here, how many do they grab? What do you think, John?
It's definitely getting more tough for sure. I mean, there's some teams here, Colorado proven that they've done well in the West. Charlotte's not going to be easy at all. I think they are right now. I think probably a top 4 team in the West on form, which is fair. And if they kind of keep acting like that, then I think they would likely beat your Salt Lakes at home and have a good game against Dallas. So I think they could pick up some points here. It's going to get more difficult, but I don't look at this and go, "Oh, this is really hard." I
Yeah.
think the West honestly is wide open right now. I think there's no one in the West that's really truly dominating and asserting themselves like in the East. And I think that the likes of San Diego have a good chance against any of these teams. Honestly, apart from Charlotte, that's the one that away to Charlotte, I really don't see any hope for them there. But they could beat Colorado at home. They could beat Seattle at home right now. They could beat Salt Lake at home. They could beat Dallas at home. So, the away trip's always going to be more difficult. But I think they've started well. Is it going to continue? I think St. Louis, that was a very unique season. Everybody was like, they're going to burn out. It's not going to continue. And they did just keep going.
Yeah.
Can San Diego keep doing that? I don't know. I mean, they've got like the likes of Annabelle Godoy in midfield. Like they've got some guys in there that are MLS veterans, like, the center back. I'm forgetting his name. McGuire, I want to say, or something, the English guy, but he's very old, too. So like some of these guys, they're relying on, if they lose those key pieces, what's going to happen? But right now that they're a top 4 team in the West, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I think, bro, 14, 15 points out of this. No bullshit. I really think they dropped to Charlotte. They probably, that might be, St. Louis will be tough. I think, so if I go through this list, they beat Seattle, they draw Colorado away, they lose to Charlotte, they beat Salt Lake, they probably beat Dallas, if I'm being honest. They draw at City Park, and then they win against Colorado at home.
I think Seattle will be really interesting just because right now Seattle is just kind of weird, but they are surprisingly a physical team, and I don't think people think I don't think about Seattle as that at all.
Actually, they can't score.
Like, they just can't score.
That's the only thing, right? I think San Diego will just find a way to break through, and I don't know if Seattle can return the favor. Like, I think if Seattle were to win the game, especially on the road, it'd be because they got a goal to go ahead early somehow, and then they just were very disciplined defensively. That's really what I think will happen. I don't know where Seattle's going to get their goals. I don't know when Ferreira's going to start taking off. I don't know. Like I feel like Djordje was like an unstoppable force heading into playoffs last year. I haven't seen that just yet. Morris is injured. It's just I feel like they still have just too much to figure out in the attacking third. But they could hold on to a 0-0 draw. Or maybe like like I said, a 1-1. Maybe they do get a goal. Not that they can't score. I just don't feel like the goals are plentiful in Seattle by any means. But yeah, man, I think San Diego is a really, really interesting team. Like for me, they kind of feel like, like St. Louis did in 2023. That comparison John made though, when you talked about like, hey, the West is wide open. No one's really taking control of the West like we thought they would. Maybe the LAFCs, the LA Galaxies of the world. Is it fair to make this comparison again, to the Premier League as an example, where you look at a team like San Diego who's surpassing everyone's expectations, similarly to like Liverpool, and right in terms of like the title run in and the expectations there, like coming into the season, I don't think anybody had Liverpool really contending with Arsenal and Manchester City. I feel like even in just that on the West Coast, in that state of California alone, no one saw San Diego, and yet here they are, and they're probably one of the best teams in the West. Right? I mean, is that a fair comparison?
I think they've started as one of the best teams in the West. Whether they can maintain that, I think a lot of
if they beat Charlotte, are you convinced?
I mean, a lot more convinced. Yeah, if they beat Charlotte for sure. But like, I think right now there's a lot of teams in the West that will figure it out and will rise up to the top. So, can they maintain it? Can they still be one of those top 4 teams? I think they're definitely a playoff team. I would say that right now, that I would be shocked if they don't make the playoffs. And I think your first year, that's, at least a minimum base so you can ask for as a fans. I mean, I remember our first year as Orlando City was absolutely terrible. So as a San Diego fan, you should be pretty happy getting anywhere in your playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Not
I think
every MLS team gets that.
as an expansion side, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I just think that right now, like at some point, the expectation has to shift as results start to come in. And bro, if they bag one of these crazy, 3-pointers on the road, especially a team that, bro, if they beat Charlotte, a team that I've had to just argue with everyone as to why they either are or aren't a top 2 team in all of Major League Soccer. I believe they are very, very good. I'm not saying they're not. But if they lose to San Diego at home, or they drop points to San Diego at home, I think there has to be a conversation about San Diego actually being legit. I don't know if we have to wait that much longer. But again, I understand 6 weeks in, maybe it's a little bit too early. Again, in the comments, guys, let us know down below how you feel. Let's move over to Colorado. Biggest reason why, guys, I got to ask this question, man. Is it finally happening? Are we finally seeing full form Djordje Mihailovic? Is it happening, bro? Is he hitting star boy status now finally? Which I say finally because anybody who's followed this guy since he was one of the youngsters coming up through the USMNT youth ranks before he went to Europe and came back, he was supposed to be him, right? Like he was supposed to be that guy. Still in his prime, don't get me wrong, but I feel like he's starting now with the Rapids to reach this level of confidence where he's gonna be that go-to guy, right? The talisman for Colorado if they're going to have one kind of moving forward. Do you guys agree with that? Like, especially for what we saw this past week, bro, those 2 goals in like 3 minutes to clutch it up for Colorado. Is he, I don't know, one of the best players in Major League Soccer? Top 10, top 15 player?
I don't know if he's a top 10 player in Major League Soccer, but I think Major League Soccer has 30 teams, all of them with a Jordie Mihailovic level player and maybe another one. You know what I mean? Like, I think he is the best DP that Colorado have got. I think he is a very good DP in this league. But if you compare him to like Evander, in my opinion, I would take Evander 9 times out of 10.
Evander was like an MVP candidate, though.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is like, is Jordie Mihailovic
okay? So who's he comparable to? Who's he comparable
year?
To, in your opinion?
I think he has to do a lot of work to get into that top tier, right? I think I always look to him as like a B tier DP in this league. And like he could be an A tier DP for sure, but he has to continuously do things like he did against Charlotte, and he is right now being that guy for Colorado. He is the be all and end all for their team. He's the glue. He's everything. He's that guy. But when you compare him to other DPs in the league, I just think he doesn't quite technically match up to some of the skill level that others can provide. I mean, there's some really impressive 10s across this league.
Fair enough. So let's say this wild scenario, right? Let's say if he is the guy for Colorado, which I fully agree with you. I think he is him for the Rapids. When we think about what has to happen then for him to be in those conversations, is it as simple as saying the Rapids just need to keep winning? If they keep winning, if they secure top 4, top 3 status, and he is the guy for Colorado, are we having a different conversation in June, July, August?
Yeah, I mean, they've got to be in that conversation for him to be up there. I mean, it has to be. But I think that was his first. Is that his first 2 goals on the season? I'm trying to look back on his stats now. So, I mean, other DPs around the league have scored like 5 or 6, 7, goals already. So he's just got to also maintain that output and that level all the time. And yeah, totally right. Like, has he got the rest of the team around him with Colorado to do that? I don't know.
So in 35 regular season MLS appearances, Jordie Mihailovic has 13 goals and 16 assists. Right, which takes the Rapids off to the best start they've had in the season since 2014. Which anybody knows MLS, right, remembers kind of the glory days of the Rapids being ever relevant in the Western Conference. That was it, those early 2010 years, right? So if Rapids get back to that level in Major League Soccer, I don't know, man. I hear what you're saying. I just think that I
mean, last year he had 12 and 10. So he had 12 goals, 10 assists on the season. Like, I think if we can, that is pretty good numbers, but he needs to be 15s, like across the board kind of thing. Like we need to have him talking about him in that MVP conversation.
So if he's 25 to 30 GA, you're like, damn, all right.
Yeah, for sure.
We're
yeah.
probably,
I mean,
we're
I
probably
think
25 to 30 GA.
that's crazy. That's wild.
Well, I mean, he's three
That's a
goals.
program.
He's 3 goals away from that last season.
Last season? No, he was 12 and 10, right?
Yes, that's 22. You put him, you get 3 more goals, right? Yeah, you get to 25 and 30. That's what I'm saying, right? So you think about that. That's a pretty solid.
Maybe it's part of the bias of how we think about Colorado Rapids. I mean, they're not a very exciting team, I think, a lot of the time. And so I think it doesn't bring a lot of that excitement around him when you think, and a lot of the time MVP votes and those kind of things, that's what it comes down to. But his numbers were there last year. Can he improve on that? Can he do better? He started great. I mean, what a great game against Charlotte. Very impressive.
Yeah, man, it's kind of crazy. And also something I also found, take a look at this. This was another interesting stat, right? When it comes to key passes this season, Mihailovic is top 5 in the league. Right. So you think about the chances he's creating for Colorado, the stats from last season, I thought were promising enough where I expect him to reach a little bit of a higher level statistically on paper, which is why I posed that 25 to 30 GA scenario. I think it's very possible for someone like Mihailovic. And I think if he hits that and Colorado gets a couple rounds deep into playoffs, who knows, maybe even the Western Conference final, if they could find a way to swing that, get more momentum as the season goes on. I don't know, man. I think Mihailovic, I think it probably is some of the bias that you mentioned, John, just like with, I don't know, how we've thought about Colorado for the majority of recent history. It didn't feel like it was too far away than talking about like Sporting Kansas City, for example. And also maybe he's not the flashiest player, right? Like I think aesthetically, they're just like more fun players to maybe watch in MLS. Yeah. But bro, if the results are there, it's like
I think there's teams in both East and West that just kind of get overlooked a little bit, and their players get overlooked. And I would put Colorado in that category, and I'm part of that, but he is I love that he's an American balling out. I think we don't see enough Americans killing it in this league. Facts. So, and I think the things he does on the ball, the intelligence he has on the play is really impressive. So I don't want to get down on the guy. I just don't always think of him as like a star of this league.
Bro, should Poch call him back up? Call him up, man.
I mean, if Luna's getting in, why wouldn't you? Like, arguably, it's the same level right now.
Yeah, and he has experience with the national team already, bro. Like in some form or fashion, right? Like I don't know. How do you feel about that? You being a US17 fan as well.
I don't know, man. That's a whole Poch thing, and I think definitely Poch definitely favors Diego Luna, even though Diego Luna you could probably put him in different positions if you do bring in Mihailovic. The thing that I'm just kind of, when I think about Jordie Mihailovic, which one, it would be an amazing, I think, cherry on top of this redemption arc that we're having for him, right? Yeah. He goes to AZ Alkmaar and it just doesn't pan out for him, right? It just I don't know if it was the team, it was the I don't know what was going on through his head at the time, but obviously didn't pan out. Comes back to MLS in this bizarre Colorado Rapids team that went weirdly aggressive last year and just signed a bunch of guys, and kind of like the epitome of just let's just throw shit on the wall and see what sticks, and it did work in some sense. It did work.
I think it worked. I think it worked tremendously. It's like what Forrest did in the Prem, right? Like that's also working out really, really well.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what Colorado is. Colorado is, once again, it's just a weird team. It's been kind of an afterthought. Kind of what John is saying, right? Like you just kind of think of them as just a mid team, and sometimes you forget about players in reality because of those teams, But and I mean, let's be honest, when it comes to MVP discussions, there's always going to be this one guy that's going to overshadow everybody.
Martin Ojeda and Mihailovic are in the same camp, bro. Like, but Ojeda is balling out.
I rate Ojeda too. I actually rate. No one
talks about him. Like, like it just happens because like
zero
Orlando,
PR. That's what it is, bro. It's a PR issue.
Yeah, like everybody wants to talk about Atlanta and Miami and like all your other New Yorks and your Eastern teams. And there are other players in the league, but they don't always get talked about because they're smaller markets or teams that aren't as popular.
Yeah, bro. I think, bro, I'm telling you, if Colorado keeps winning, Mihailovic just keeps performing like this, right? there have to be some sneaky early MVP shouts. And look, even the shouts, I think, would be flowers enough because, like Hector said, there is always the one player, right, that's going to overshadow everybody on that MVP list. We all know. But at the end of the day, just to even get that, which I think would just be a sign of how far Colorado has come. Rapids fans, sound off in the comments, man. Let me know what you think. I know that we actually have a pretty avid viewer who's a pretty avid Rapids fan. Let us know, man, how you feel about Mihailovic all the way around. I think, bro, if you guys keep winning, some crazy shouts might be hitting the timeline. I might be right there with you, boys. So we'll see, man. We'll find out. All right, man. The fourth big question we are asking ahead of Match Day 7 is referencing the figure that that Hector just so subtly referenced. Messi, is he better for Inter Miami coming off the bench? Is he better than starting a game, considering how many matches they have to play, considering how, you know, his own age as a veteran, getting the best out of him late in the season, which they couldn't do last season? Does all of that just sort of equate to him being a super sub?
Man, the guy that thinks that you guys are already an anti-Messi show. This is gonna boil hit. God, that guy's gonna be boiling right now.
Results are results, man.
Look, I mean, you know, we could think of all the times that Messi has come off the bench for Miami and come up big. I think his debut, it's like the prime example, right?
Or even just this last week against Philadelphia.
Yeah, and also the all-time guy trying to bully Messi, and Messi just straight up bullies him, and then gets a foul.
And he got the foul. I was like, dude, this is crazy, bro.
Yeah, man. Look, there's just no way to say that. Look, no, Messi's gonna be your starter at the end of the day. I get where you're coming at. I think we're also seeing the evolution of Messi's positioning. Obviously, you know, we've known him more off on the wing. Now he's playing a little bit more centrally. You know, he evolves as the game goes. He knows he doesn't have to be the fastest guy on the field. He just needs to be at the right place at the right time and make the play that he thinks is best. But yeah, I mean, coming off the bench, yeah, you know, players are tired. Guys are probably playing at that point, 60, 70 plus minutes. Messi's coming in fresh legs. And I mean, with his unfortunate injury record that he's having now, maybe it is a good call for him, but you know, nobody's going to be happy. If they're not happy already as it is that this guy just opts out of, and I mean, it's not on him. It's obviously Miami making their decisions as well, but this guy not even traveling with the team to the games, people are just going to be more livid seeing Messi on the bench. And I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be irritated seeing multiple zoom ins on Messi while he's sitting on the bench. So
like the T Swift zoom ins during the NFL games, bro. I love that shit. I love that shit. I love seeing fans get pissed about that.
He's gonna be there with his mate, you know.
Yeah, like, just fucking vibing, bro. He's vibing. He's just and bro, you know what? I can see it. Not for every match, but I think as like other competitions come more into play, I think that I can see regular season being where Mascherano decides, you know what? I'm gonna let Leo decide. If Leo doesn't want to play, I'm not gonna force it. Like we'll keep him on the bench, we'll bring him on, we'll manage his minutes, right? We'll call it load management, whatever you want it to be. And if he takes that approach and Inter Miami go on to win and hoist MLS Cup this season, bro, you gotta. I'm sure Miami fans are not even a question.
They'll learn. That means they're learning. Yeah. If anything else, that just means they're learning. They learn that
was a fucking fraud, bro. It means he was a fraud. Let's be honest. It means he was a fraud.
Look, man, Messi just does whatever Messi wants, bro. There's no, and I've never in my life seen a player that can just have carte blanche, whether he wants to play in a tournament, whether he wants to go somewhere, whether he wants to, you know, be in the national team or not, whether he wants to train one day, whether he wants to go to All-Star, whether he wants to go to an event. The dude just does whatever he wants. And like, he's that big. It frustrates me. I don't think any player should have the option to be like, I want to play or not play. But at the end of the day, when he doesn't want to play, they just say, oh, Messi has a thing. And he gets his doctor, literally his doctor, to sign something to say, I don't want to play. So for me, like, they figured out how to play without him. Mascherano's whole thing is, I think, pretty much like, we can't rely on Messi anyway. We need to be a team that doesn't play, you know, plays just as well without him. And it's the all minutes management. Like that's the reason he didn't go with Argentina. It's just he's picking the games that he wants to play. And this game, he was like, oh, maybe I should come in, and then 2 minutes later scores a goal. You can do that if you're Lionel Messi. No one else in the world can do that, but you can if you're Lionel Messi.
I think we'll see this narrative continue between now and post the Club World Cup. That's what I think will happen. I think they're going to just carefully watch his minutes. We're going to see him, again, like Hector said, right? Come into games, tired legs, 30-plus minutes left, especially the regular season.
He chooses minutes, man. I don't think anyone. I think it's him all the time. Just
100%. But he's coming in against tired legs. The last half hour plus of any game when he does come off the bench, he's going to keep scoring or keep finding ways to impact the game for Miami. He'll have this super sub tag or title, and then once they get past the Club World Cup, I think you'll slowly start seeing him get more minutes up until the playoffs. Like that's really how I think it's all going to work out. And I think it would be smart of Miami, to be honest. And if it does work out, bro, Mascherano and I believe this is like his first senior club position as a manager. I know he's had the whole youth stint with Argentina, but if he gets it done in season one when that couldn't, despite them breaking the points record and all of those things, wild, absolute scenes I can imagine.
I'd tell you that any of the tournaments that they're in, if he gets to a semifinal or a final and it's like 120 minutes, he will play every single minute of that. There won't be any question. It'll be like, I could do that. Like, so it's just that they're just being like, this game isn't important enough to put Messi in. We'll bring him in if we need him.
Yeah, and look, this week we'll see it with LAFC against LAFC.
And that's why I'm saying I think Miami is starting to learn their lesson. Right, they learned their lesson from last year that just because you win the Supporters Shield doesn't mean you're going to win the MLS Cup, and the reality is that MLS, as much people want to complain about MLS that it's not proper, blah blah blah. I give Brett's ass at this point. It's a biathlon. That's literally what it is. It is a biathlon. 1 minute you're sprinting, the next you're on a bicycle. That's literally what it is. And it's unfortunately Inter Miami last year forgot how to ride a bike, or maybe never knew how to ride a bike. They never thought about having to ride a bike.
Yeah, I never thought about it. I always lived on a motorcycle or some shit. They were never even thinking about a bike, bro. Never. But I see what you mean. So with that said, ahead of Toronto this weekend, sorry, Messi's probably not going to play, right? Or he won't start. He won't start. Coming off after the game, the first leg against LAFC and Triple C, probably won't start, right?
I mean, Insigne won't start, so why would Messi?
Bro, that's crazy.
Insigne's the biggest
wouldn't
star.
If Insigne they just choose not to start him, that's wild. That's fucking
Insigne
wild.
starts and Messi doesn't. It's like the ultimate insult.
Yeah, true.
They're gonna play DP Chicken.
Bro, no shot, no fucking way. Toronto doesn't have a choice, bro. They don't get that. They don't have that luxury. These motherfuckers need points, bro. Every player that is available and fit and capable of being in that starting 11 should be in that 11, including Insigne.
They're getting ready for the Canadian Cup.
No fucking shot. No way. Messi, I do expect to be on the bench, and I'll say it right now. I think he's still going to find a way at home to come on with 30+ minutes left and bag the winner, like he always does. If they're not already in the driver's seat of that game by the time that point comes, we may not even see him because Miami just may be able to single-handedly take Toronto down without him. So, they have their own ballers.
Yeah. I think that's the more likely scenario.
Yeah. So literally they're going to go all out on Triple C between this week and next week. Like I think Toronto game's not even a thought on Messi's mind right now. Or Mascherano or any of the team. It's like he's not going to play. Let's just get ready without him and we'll move from there. So
Messi's only focused on Champions League right now, I'm sure.
Yeah. Because, bro, if they were to bow out to LAFC, especially with the form they're in, bro, Miami would never be off the hook ever again. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
approaching serial choke artist territory.
We haven't given them off the hook the whole Atlanta United.
We're the only ones, bro. Literally everybody else is glazing the fuck out of them. We're literally the only ones holding them accountable. And trust me, bro, I love Messi to death. My favorite player of all time. Mm-hmm. But if they do not advance beyond LAFC, bro, I have an epic rant that's coming.
What if Giroud just suddenly gets?
If he becomes him, no shot.
Trick.
If you let Giroud
finally comes, scores a hat trick.
No fucking way.
I'd love that.
Just stitch a Champions League patch, like a UEFA Champions League patch on the kid, and then maybe he'll think he's playing in.
Bro, no shot.
I love it.
No, he just turns on France version of Giroud and just goes fucking ham. Ain't no way.
I need Jose to update his background and just have guys. I'm a Messi fan. Like I just need that little.
Drew's probably still pissed about the World
Bro,
Cup
if
final,
people
man,
can't see the
so...
jersey in the background, or they never go to my Twitter handle, which you guys, if you need to see it, it's right there on the screen. Go to my Twitter. It's literally Messi as my fucking like cover photo on my Twitter page, whatever you want to call it.
What is my Twitter thing?
It's legitimately my cover photo, bro. It's not Barcelona, which is my favorite club of all time. It's Messi blowing a kiss, bro. Like that's legitimately what it is. And people will still say I'm a serial Messi hater. I don't care. I just like to hold everybody accountable. Hashtag LA Galaxy. If you know what I'm talking about, go watch the last video.
My thing is Leonardo DiCaprio holding pupusas.
Yeah, bro. Yours is honestly perfectly Hector. If I'm being dead ass, like perfectly Hector. It's the most Hector photo of all time, bro.
I forgot.
It's been there forever. I meant to compliment you on it a while back, and I think I forgot. But yeah, I'm like, bro, that's the most Hector shit I've ever seen, bro. But yeah, anyway, guys, I digress. Let us know how you feel in the comments about Messi being probably another super sub scenario going into Toronto. They probably won't need him. I'm curious to hear what Miami fans think as the season gets closer.
Miami fans or Messi fans?
Either way, same shit at this point. Just how you guys feel about Messi potentially being more impactful off the bench than as a starter. And then finally, guys, is ATL back? Or was that comeback win against NYCFC just for the vibes?
They gotta be more consistent for me, man.
I feel like they're getting there slowly, you know. Like I don't know, man. Granted, the last goal horrendous by who was the center back?
I'm sure Davi would say something about that. That NYCFC gave it up. They blew the game.
Yeah,
he did.
It was a combination of the center back, and I can't remember what his name is, and Freeze not being on the same page, bro.
Justin Hack or Martins?
It might have been Martins. That's familiar. That sounds familiar, bro. It's just the hesitation. Like one, as a center back, you should never be calling for your keeper to come bail you out. Like if you need a bailout, bro, clear it. Like it's literally that simple. But at the same time, if the keeper is going to come out even a little bit, commit. If you don't commit, you're basically just leaving your goal extremely exposed and wide open for anything to happen. Right? To me, it was a mixture of the two. And bro, that dagger, the fourth goal, it was so preventable. And at the same time, though, to me, these are results that can springboard a team that's still trying to figure it out, like Atlanta, right? That we know on paper they have some pretty damn good pieces, and they've spent a good amount on these pieces. I think that they have to make them work now, sooner rather than later. But I feel like this type of a win, you're down 2-0, you turn around, you win 4-3. Like what that does for momentum, for chemistry, morale, all of those things. Like I feel like now it's like with Almiron getting on the score sheet, with Latte Lath getting on the score sheet, this is what you want, right? I mean, it hasn't been consistent yet, but do you feel like you're finally seeing a little more of what this team is supposed to be under Dyla?
I think Davi talked about how Dyla's teams are just like hot and cold, right? So I think that was already like an Atlanta thing. Like last year, they'd have games where they looked like a great team and would kill it, and then other games where they looked terrible and just couldn't do anything. So I think it's very hot and cold a lot of time. A lot of that for me comes from the fact that their attack is really good. Like that front four, I rate highly as one of the better front fours in the East, but the defense I don't think is that good. I think really the defense is maybe a playoff worthy defense, if that. So I think it's a tale of one half of the team is really good and the other half isn't. Like you're going to see a lot of these high scoring games where maybe they win if Latte Lath and Almiron and everybody is killing it. They can get enough goals to offset the bad defense. But I think they will get better over time. I think that attack is extremely good, like I said, and it's only going to improve. The goals are going to be there. Maybe their defense will get better over time. We always thought they were going to be a much improved Atlanta from last year. For sure, they've shown that. How far they can go from here, I do think the East is, like I said before, just so competitive, and I think there's teams that have got a lot better in the East, like in Philly and Chicago, they've gone way up in there. And so there's so many teams out, vying to be a playoff team in the East. Atlanta, I put in that mix for sure, but I just don't think their defense is as good as the likes of Charlotte or, maybe Orlando's once it's fully going, Nashville's defense or, Miami's defense, Philly's defense. So how far can you be carried by just an attack?
Let me ask you this, John. If they take points from both of these games in mid to late April.
Yeah, there's a big test there.
Philly on the road, Orlando on the road.
Yeah.
If they take points in both of those games, at least a point, right? Maybe they draw both on the road. Are you a little more convinced?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think they have to be able to go away to teams like that and show something. I think so far against the better teams, they haven't looked that good. I mean, I think that they've managed to compete against teams on their level, right? But if you put this Atlanta team right now against, Inter Miami, yes, they did play recently. I still think Inter Miami, you play that 10 times, Inter Miami, you're going to win it 9 out of the 10 times, right? So
Fair.
Atlanta right now are not, for me, a top team in the East. They could become a top team in the East, and I do think they will do that. But right now, they're just still very middle of the pack.
Hector, how many points do they get right here in this stretch of games?
Wow, that's well, I mean, I would say
rough,
4
man.
guaranteed in the first 2 games.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair
guaranteed.
shout. Philly
You'd be happy. I think you'd be happy if you come out with 2 for the next 2. Nashville would be interesting. I kind of want to edge it to Cashville though. And
I say 12. I say that they get 12 out of this possible 21 because it's a very mixed bag, but still a very interesting run of games. Some trap games in there too.
It's a mixture of teams that can really punish you if they catch you slipping. And aside from New England, but
damn. Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree. I think even at the bottom, right? Chicago away at Chicago will be tough because we've seen what Chicago's able to do to start the season, and because Kuiper's in goal scoring form. I think at the end of the day, if the defense is still shaky at that point, right, in a month from now, Kuiper's will be a handful, and Austin is proving to be at least defensively sound enough to maybe stifle that attack at Atlanta. And if they can't find a way to, keep them out of the back of the net, that becomes tricky too. So.
That's my thing is what happens when, like, I think whenever this Atlanta team comes up against a team that's really good at the low block and will take away the space and then say, go break us down. I don't know if this Atlanta team can do that. I think they're just very much a transition built, counterattacking, fast paced, free flowing team that wants an open game that goes back and forth. And if you take that away, like we've seen with some of the teams in the East when they played them, I really think that limits what they can do, and they just can't break down those low blocks.
Yeah, I agree. At least so far, right? And maybe Zyla will start to kind of figure out how he finds a way to. I don't want to say mask their weaknesses, but I think that's a little bit of what that is, right? Finding ways to set up that doesn't leave you so exposed in the back, whatever that may be. But if they can find a way to be that team in transition, and maybe at the end of the day, it's just being more efficient with their chances so that teams really have to try and break them down or score at Atlanta quickly, because if they don't, they're going to be playing a game of catch up for the full 90 minutes. I don't know. I think so far you're right. I think the from the point of like their defensive mid area into that back third, I think it's difficult to assume that Atlanta can always hold things down. But some interesting teams in here. I think by the time we get to mid-May, we'll have a great understanding of whether or not Atlanta's actually back to kind of what we know them to be prior to this weird transition period, right? 2019, 2020, 21, like what we know them to be. I'm not saying the championship team. I'm not saying 2017, 2018, but I think even in those years beyond the championship, there was still some, and you know better than most of us, John, right? Just how competitive this team really was up until the point of, Pineda being there, those 3 DPs exiting, kind of putting Atlanta in this weird rebuild, not a rebuild sort of position.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think we'll see.
The race to be number 2 in the East is very interesting.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's going to get it right now. Everybody and their mom's giving it to Charlotte, and I'm kind of inclined to agree. I think that they probably are the second best team in the East. There's just again some weird results from them up to this point so far that has me questioning things. Mainly the loss to 10-man Miami, and I know it's Miami, but you still have a man advantage. I still think that, and the game was tied 0-0 when you had the man advantage. I just think I don't know. To me, there's certain things you can do to at least make sure you walk out of there with the point, but. Again, conversation for another day. All right, guys. That is it, man. Those are the 5 big questions we are asking ahead of match day 7. Again, if you've gotten this far in the episode, let us know down below how you feel about everything. I'm really curious, I think personally, to hear from all the Messi fanboys about the super sub conversation. That's probably my favorite one. But again, any one of those topics, guys, feel free to chime in down below. We will have those conversations with you down there. So again, don't be shy. All right, man. Last little segment of the episode for today. We're going to go through each one of the match day 7 matchups in quick fire fashion and give our predictions all the way around. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's start with Charlotte hosting Cashville. How are we feeling?
It's gonna be a defensive snooze fest. No,
you really think that?
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm about to say, bro, no shot.
It's just two teams I think so good. Like they're just both very good defensively. Maybe not Nashville so much, but Charlotte I think should win this probably.
They should. I think they will. It'll be close. It'll be like 2-1 Charlotte for me.
Oh man, I don't know what to do here.
Here it comes.
Give me Cashville.
Biggest fan.
Give me Cashville. Give me Cashville.
I say Cashville's second biggest fan. All right. Salt Lake hosting the Galaxy. Bro, this is anybody's fucking guess. I could not tell you how this game goes.
I'll take Diego Luna to pile on the misery.
I would too, but
it's
this team's so lost without him. It's
they're
crazy.
Demoralized, man. I saw it last week.
So Galaxy do not get their first win yet?
I still don't.
No
think
shot,
so.
bro. No shot. We're heading to week 8. No dubs.
Yeah, there's still no dub.
Give me a draw. Give me a draw.
I'm on draw. I'm on draw watch for this one.
Man, I hope I'm at least a little bit wrong, bro. Galaxy fans have to be down horrendous at this point. Like, I cannot imagine a scenario where I was a champion the previous season and then had not won a game for almost the first 2 months. It'd be fucking crazy.
That's on the front office, man. We talked about it last week.
It's wild. All right. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Atlanta hosting Dallas. Fuck, man. This one's so difficult, Mercedes-Benz, bro. If it was in Frisco at Toyota, I'd give us a fighting chance. We played there. We actually tied 2-2 there against Giacomakis, keep in mind. Was it last season? No, season before, 2023.
I go Atlanta just.
Yeah.
I think the home field advantage on that turf, man.
Hey, bro, we haven't lost on the road yet. Give me a draw. Give me a draw for Dallas, bro. Give me a draw.
It starts today. Atlanta.
Okay. We're actually way better on the road this season for whatever reason. Columbus hosting Montreal.
Columbus better win this game.
They better fucking win this game, bro. And honestly, man, I kind of despise Montreal more now for letting go of Courtois so fucking early. Give me Columbus by 1 million, bro. Give me Columbus 4 or 5-0. I want them to smack the shit out of Montreal this one. I know we got some Montreal fans in the chat. Apologies, nothing against you or your fan base, but I think your front office is terrible. So yeah, give me Columbus all the way around.
Yep.
All right. Cincy hosting New England. Probably a quick one. Vander Brace.
Denke goal for sure.
Denke goal for sure, bro. It's crazy how controversial his run up, and I think Heel, right? These two teams, right? Those penalty kicks that were taken in match day 6 was a massive talking point. I had to hear a lot about it from Bob, and I actually agree with him. I've seen way worse. That's what I told him. I've seen way worse in terms of like stutter stops and penalty kick run ups, but at the same time, I get it, bro. I'd be pissed too.
It's a trend. It's a stupid trend. It is.
But yeah, I don't think any amount of PKs are saving the Revs here. I think it's Cincinnati. Same. All right.
Cincy.
I mean, they did just beat Red Bulls last week, so they got a
Red
little
Bulls
bit
are off to a weird, funky
right.
start.
Hey,
Like
man,
They're off to a weird.
a
best
little bit of
defense.
hope.
Nah, Hector's gonna run with that shit
Best
all
defense so
fucking
far.
year, bro.
Only gave
You
up
should,
one goal
yeah.
all season.
Yeah,
Hector took that as a Dynamo fan. He took that claim
Yeah.
personally, like right here. He's like, man, fuck,
Yeah.
Bro,
I'm not
you
letting
just
go.
can't say we've only given up one goal all season when you're 3 games into the season.
Hey, bro, stats are
Yeah.
stats. You know, what
That's
I'm
like saying
stats are stats.
I haven't
New England.
I
score
haven't
2
failed a
against
test
you,
yet
so.
in like the first week of school.
But I haven't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like shit. I was undefeated until you're defeated, bro. Like the other teams were undefeated. First week of the season, 1-0. It's like, bring it. All right. Speaking of Red Bulls hosting the Fire.
Chicago, Triple G, baby.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I don't think I've ever actually backed Triple G. Like where I've said like, oh yeah, USMNT by 1 million. Like I don't think I've ever said that about a Berhalter team.
We did see them slip last week, though. So
Yeah, we did see them
Means
slip
they're
last
due
week.
for a bounce back. That's all I hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, right.
I'm actually gonna go
against the
with
best defense in the league, guys.
Against the best defense thus far, only allowed 1 goal all season.
I'm gonna say it's a draw, like a 1-1 or a 2-2. I do think Hyper scores again, though. I think they'll be honing in on him. He won't get a lot of touches, but I think he'll bag one.
1-1. Yeah.
Yeah. This will be a close game. Philly hosting Orlando. John, what are we thinking, bro?
It was a revenge match from the first game, man. Already,
yeah,
so
be a revenge
that was
Already.
4-2, right? And we lost that opener
at home,
and everyone was like, "Yo, Philly, you're good again." So, yeah, we our backline that day was not good at all. We kind of gave them a couple goals. So, and I think we've gotten better. I don't know. We might be able to upset them here. I think it's got goals in it regardless. I think maybe a 2-2. Optimistically, we get revenge and win like
bro,
4-2 back in their house like they did.
If you're Pareja, do you show the team that game film?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think they
run those fucking goals on
They
repeat.
were annoyed by that because opening day, new season, all that. So I think there's some revenge going on here. But Philly are very good. It's going to be an epic game. I think it's going to be a lot of goals. Both teams have scored. We've scored 15. They've scored 13. So
high scoring teams for sure.
Yeah.
Let's say masterclass because I don't really want Philly to win this game. I'm going to back Orlando. But for that, what you just mentioned, the revenge game, the defense should be a little more solid. And I don't know, bro. I would just love to see Philly lose at home. So I'm going to go with that one. Hector,
championship DVD.
Yeah, maybe back on the train,
that.
Hector.
Back on the train. Let's go.
I literally have nothing at stake now.
The battle of better than this one. Austin hosting Portland. I believe the first game was a draw. This is another one we're already seeing
on
rematch.
Fox.
Is it on Fox? This one?
It's gonna be on Fox.
Interesting. Okay, dude, they've already done. This is their second Austin game on Fox. No, did they do San Diego Austin on Fox too, or did I make that one up?
I thought that was Sunday Night Soccer.
Oh, you're right. That was the afternoon game. Sunday Night Soccer. My bad. I thought there might have been another Austin game. I can't remember. Anyway, they do love the Q2 and like pinning on all those fans and whatnot. So that's probably a little bit of it there. But in terms of the last game where they did play Portland, it was 1-0 Portland at home. In a game where you can argue Austin should have been able to walk away with something. Portland was kind of lucky. So at the Q2, how's it going?
Probably Austin.
You would think. I would think so, for sure. They have twice as many shots as Portland, but I don't know, man. Like, here's the thing, bro. And this, I know Austin fans are gonna be like, bro, you're just a fucking hater as a Dallas fan. Maybe it's a little bit of it. But I will say, on top of that, putting that point aside, bro, it's hard to be a team that wins every game 1-0. As a Barcelona fan who endured, and I say endured because I did have to endure it. I feel like every game was a heart attack as a Barcelona fan watching Xavi Hernandez coached in that first season. There was like 14 games that were decided as a 1-0 victory. Like you want to have some games that are fucking comfortable, bro. You just do. You want to have some games where you win 2-0, 3-1, something along those lines, just to feel like your team is building momentum and stacking things up. If you're scraping by every fucking game, I just don't know how sustainable it is. That's all that I want to say. Even at home, bro. Even at home, I don't know if they're gonna convincingly beat Portland.
They just don't want the ball. They're just like, yeah, we're not interested in having the ball at all. So even at home, it's like not fun because they're just defending all the time because that's their whole strat is like not trying to be a possessive team.
Yeah.
I think if this becomes a shootout, it's gonna be interesting to see if Austin can keep up.
They should be able to. Unlike Portland, they have a $10 million man up top. So if they can't figure out, and Bukhari is back, although I did see Nico bench him, I think it was a couple weeks ago against San Diego, and it worked out pretty well for them. They got those 2 goals. They have pieces around Vasquez, but bro, like when you have a striker that's, I'm not going to say as good as Vasquez. I actually don't rate Vasquez that much. I think his PR coming off of that insane Cincy season is what he's still running on, I think, personally, and the price tag. I honestly don't think he's had a stellar career as a forward. But in this game against Portland, he should be able to score. And if they can't do it at home, bro, if Portland draws this game, I don't know if this is the last matchup against Austin this season. I imagine it's not. But if it is, bro, and Portland kind of does the sweep a little bit, 4 points out of 6 against Austin, wild, because I don't rate Portland at all. But for this game, I'm going to say a draw. I don't want to say Austin win because I just don't. But I'm going to say a draw. Hector, what was your result?
I'm going to give it to Austin.
All right, there it is. The Houston fan picks Austin. And John, yours was Austin as well, or Portland?
I'm going to take Austin, yep.
All right. I'm the only hater here, I guess. All right. Houston hosting LAFC. Bro, have some faith, man. Have some faith.
Stop trying to make me believe.
Yeah. Hector's
on,
like, I'm done. This season's over already. I'm gonna pack it up.
Bro, he sounded so sad in the group chat this past weekend. I was like, damn, Hector, I'm sorry, bro. It's rough. I can't say I don't enjoy it a little bit, but like at the end of the day, like
even the podcast, even my own podcast account is even trolling me with this shit. I'm like, yes, I do miss Ache Ache.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I put that on my story on Instagram, and Ache is like, "I miss you too, buddy." And I'm like, "Fuck you."
Bro, is this not the year that you want to play LAFC though? Even as bad as you guys are, I know there's not a win yet on the books, but like, is this not the time in which you can play against LAFC, even if you you don't generate anywhere near as many opportunities? We're not getting something out of this game.
I mean, I'm assuming this is going to be Linger's debut. With the Dynamo, it's funny watching your 10 wear a 9 and your 9 wearing a 10 shirt, but hey, that's the world we live in now. Yeah, man, I don't know. I know there's the Dynamo fans are right now like very like split between, let's just wait till Anali and Quiones are healthy and they're on the field. To is it really just 2 guys that we need?
I don't know, bro. Bolton's got to figure it out, bro, up top. I will say that. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. But I
Boss
mean,
needs to be put back in the wing. I think that for sure. Let's see what Seba can do at the 10 spot. Oh, we got Linger now, so I guess our DP 10. The answer that
y'all's record at home is fucking crazy, though. I will say that. Like, it's a wild record.
It's
winless.
cool, Hector, because after this you pay LA Galaxy and they'll just give you the win. So,
bro, what if you play the 2 LA teams and you bounce back?
What if you go to LA, take 6 points? You're great.
Yeah. What if y'all are back, bro?
If we do that, then I could definitely say, hey, San Diego, it's not that hard.
It 2 birds, right? 2 birds, bro. It serves the agenda on multiple levels. With that said, I'll probably back in LAFC in this one. It'll be close, though. I don't think this is a blowout. I think LAFC is still trying to figure it out. I think it's going to be like a 2-1, 1-0. But if Houston were to draw, better than it's been recently, bro. Even if it is, people say, oh, it's at home, they should get more than that. Bro, they don't have a win yet. Like, you got to get something on the board, and then we start to build momentum, right?
We just need a point in Houston at this point.
Yeah. A point in Houston it will feel like a dub. All right?
We're right now a better road team.
Hey, 4 points out of 6 against 2 LA teams would not be bad by any stretch of the imagination. John, you're also on the LAFC train?
I mean, I trust Hector in this sad state of affairs, but yeah.
Thanks.
we back Hector on this one. LAFC all the way around. Kansas City, we talked about it, the derby against St. Louis. It is in blue hell territory. So, again, new manager bounce. Is it going to be enough to get them their first win of the season?
No.
I feel like they're gonna get this win, man. I feel like there's gonna be like a cathartic, like Peter Vermes, like lifting of like this this new era, and then just this game is they're
I
gonna be
don't need
they're
Kansas
gonna
City
be
getting a win
great.
before the Dynamo.
Like,
I don't need.
I just feel like it's
I
gonna
just like
happen.
no, bro.
Yeah.
I can't take it. There's no way I could take it.
Right.
If that happened, KC would officially move into the second to last position of the table, and Houston would be down there, provided they don't get the result against LAFC. I'm with you, John. I actually think there's something about like a massive shift in the tie, like Vermes being out. I think we need to see some sort of tifo in reference to that, good or bad. Good or bad. I would love to see that at the stadium. And I think that, bro,
the Batman's away. The Batman's gone.
The bad man is gone.
They did like the cauldron out, like we're making a new brew, you know. Something.
Give me like a Joffrey from Game of Thrones meme of some kind.
Peter Vermes drinking the poison
as a tifo. I need one of those, but in terms of the result, man, there's just something about this. It'd be the most MLS thing of all time for them to get their first win against their rivals, who happen to be at least seemingly better than the 2024 St. Louis City SC. So yeah, I'm gonna back KC on this one. I don't know what the score will be, but I think they'll win. So let's find out. Vancouver hosting Colorado. This is a good game, bro. Good game.
Since it's in Vancouver, I'm gonna give it to Vancouver.
Same, actually.
Vancouver bounced back from their loss, I think.
Bro, that stadium is just so hard.
It is hard. It is hard. I want to give Colorado the benefit of the doubt because they are a good team. Give me a draw. Draw, and Mihailovic bags another goal.
Sorry, I said bounce back from their loss. They bounced back from a 0-0 draw with Toronto, which is a loss.
Is a loss. Yeah, let's be real. It was a derby. I did see like the second half of that game. Weather played a factor, some of those things, but like at the end of the day, like it wasn't that exciting of a game. So yeah, man, I don't know. I think it's going to be a draw. I'm going to back that. 2 Vancouver wins. All right. San Diego hosting Seattle. Talked about it a little bit earlier. I think it's going to be San Diego, man. I think for me, Snapdragon's too real of a stadium, and I don't think Seattle knows how to score convincingly on the road.
Are they going to debut Kent, or is that a summer?
I didn't see. I saw the signing. I didn't see if it was immediate transfer or if they were waiting until the summer. I imagine we're out of the window. I imagine it'd be in the summer, but we could see it.
I mean, Rangers aren't going to win the Scottish Premier League.
I mean, but still, bro. I mean, you know, you never know. Maybe he has to finish it, ride it out for the last couple of months. I mean, who knows? But yeah, that's just my take on it. I'm not sure if he's actually going to be playing this week.
Yeah, give me San Diego.
John?
Yeah, I think just about San Diego.
El Chuquilosa.
Or as we all know, it's Santiago.
Yeah.
Santiago.
With all of these teams like San Diego's, I'm just less it's more about I'm not inspired with the other team. You know what I mean? Like Seattle, if Seattle at the end of the season probably would give San Diego a better chance. Seattle now.
San Diego FC. I need an anchorman tifo.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Stay classy, San Diego. That would have been
LAFC.
Or that would have been fire, 100%.
Yeah, there you go.
Guys, these are free ideas, man. Pick them up and run with them, San Diego. Like seriously, and that goes for any team. The KC tifo, I want to see that shit through and through, 100%.
Peter Vermes is Joffrey.
Bro, that'd be fucking crazy. All right, NYCFC hosting Minnesota. Kind of an interesting game.
They're both so weird.
I don't even know if this is like a sexy game on paper. I'll be honest, but
I'm gonna go Minnesota. I think they're better than they look.
Ooh, Davi not here to defend it. That's crazy.
Both these teams are just weird right now. Like I just don't know what exactly they are gonna be. But give me
baseball
Minnesota.
Stadium though.
Although, I did. There's the baseball factor. So,
and what more perfect than the weirdest team in MLS like Minnesota to win in there?
Yeboah,
I guess that is true.
Like
that is true.
Play baseball, Yeboah with a home run, and then that's it. That's
he'll get one of those torpedo cleats. Yeah.
Oh, bro, the torpedo bat things are fucking insane. But I mean, for this, bro, like Minnesota is like subtly a decent team. I could see a draw. I don't know about a win just because that baseball stadium always proves so difficult
probably
for teams
to play.
Yeah. But Minnesota is a top 4 team and they're doing well. So yeah, I'm back a draw here. Hector?
I'm gonna take Minnesota.
All right. No one has NYCFC winning, bro. Davi, if you get to this part of the episode, you saw this, bro. You can let us have it next time you see it if you guys do win. But if not, I mean, get ready for the trolls. San Jose hosting DC. San Jose, bro.
Probably.
I think it's the Quakes, 100%.
Yeah, I mean they're traveling to California.
Yeah, I just again, I know the other Quakes are not doing so well anymore. The last month has been horrendous in my opinion, considering the 2-0 start. But I think DC, bro, coast to coast, has not even proven to be good at home. I think if they could find a way to at least keep Benteke at bay, this is San Jose dub. And then finally, Miami hosting Toronto.
This is Sunday Night Soccer?
Yes, I believe so. Let me look.
Who's picking these matches, bro? Like these are terrible matches.
This is the prime time Sunday Night Soccer game.
You ready to watch a Ryan Taylor hat trick? It's gonna be it's Inter Miami all day, every day.
Yeah, bro, it's not even close. Messi will not play this game, but he will not have to. It will not fucking matter.
It's okay. His bodyguard can't be on the field anyways.
So we should see a fan run out. I'm hoping that's like the indicator of that. But either way, bro, like the 3 games for Sunday Night Soccer in general just aren't that great. They're okay. The NYCFC Minnesota.
There's nothing different about these games, by the way. Like, there's no, like, when you watch like an NFL primetime, even like major MLB primetime and NBA primetime, there's a distinction that's different from the regular.
The production
games.
feels different. Yeah,
the production feels different. They're actually at the stadium. Like,
yeah.
It
feels way more prime time. Way more prime time.
MLS do better. Like,
that's why it's not a big game, bro. If it's not a big game,
Sunday Night Soccer logo
bring me
already
into it.
It's like Times New Roman as like the font. Like it's yeah. Like
that's
I mean,
a good shit. Basic as fuck. Yeah. I feel that.
I might as well have just said it is my birthday. Like that's literally how I'm getting the vibes from. You guys put like minimal effort. You just said, guys, Sunday Night Soccer.
Crazy, bro. Crazy, man. But yeah, I mean, we have Miami winning. And if they don't win, if somehow Toronto pulls out a draw, it will be the talking point of the whole weekend, but I just don't see it happening. Either way, guys, let us know how you feel about our predictions down in the comments below. And as always, man, if you enjoyed the content, if you joined the episode today, do us a favor, like the video down below, subscribe to Goals TV for more weekly MLS content from yours truly, everybody here on screen, as well as several other creators who are going to appear from time to time on the series weekly. So again, if you enjoy the content, subscribe, like, comment down below, do all of those things, and we sincerely appreciate it. All right, so everybody here, Wake Up MLS. My name is Jose. That's John. That's Hector. Catch you guys next time.